What up, what up, what up, guys? 20 minutes until the NBA free agency kicks off. 6 o'clock p.m. officially. A lot of reports been swelling around, a lot of reports. But stuff will become official once 6 p.m. strikes. You're hearing KD has signed a 4-year deal with the Nets. So has Kyrie Irving. Our rival Celtics are signing Kemba Walker. I've heard DeAndre Jordan possibly going to Brooklyn. So there's been a lot of speculation on what our guys are going to do. You know, we've got a couple big free agents ourselves, especially coming off the bench. You got Mike Scott, got Tobias Harris, and the big question mark of them all, where's Jimmy Butler going to go? We don't know if he's going to sign here. We honestly have no clue. He's definitely a wild card. We traded for him hoping. We knew he was going to opt out at the end of the season to get paid. You know, it's going to be his last payday before he retires from the NBA. He's going on to say he doesn't want to play basketball past 35. Well, this contract will take him, depending where he signs, up to the age of 35. Sixers can offer him the most with 5 years, 190 max, I believe, because most guys with their teams, we can offer the most years and most money, about 40 to 50 mil other than any other team. You know, there's heavy consideration that Butler is going to Miami, and there's talks that the Sixers are going to do a sign and trade with Houston, Miami. We really don't know. There's a lot of interesting to see where he goes. What did the Sixers do? Do you guys really want to offer 190 million 5 years to a guy that's going to be 30 years old at the beginning of the season? Is it worth it to run it back? I know there's been a lot of speculation saying a lot of fans don't want to see Toby back here because they don't think he is a max player. Well, there is an advantage to bringing Toby back. I think he fits better in this system than Jimmy Butler does. There's that whole thing of Jimmy maybe wanting his own team. Or this could be a power move by Jimmy's camp trying to get that 5th year out of the Sixers, trying to pressure them and saying he's going to go elsewhere. I don't know. Do the Sixers brass really want to pay that luxury tax to have a couple max contracts? Because you got Toby, you got Butler, and then you've got Ben Simmons. Talks about him wanting to be extended because he's up for next year. I don't know what they're going to do. I think it's really going to be futile if we let Jimmy walk for nothing, or do you try to get rid of him? I don't think he's worth that type of money. Do I think he's going to bring us to getting a championship, that goal? And I think he is, but I don't want to have us hamstrung either to where we're 4 or 5 years into his contract, and he's getting paid $38 million a year, and he's not doing squat because he's too injured or he's not putting up the points he is. There's a lot of miles on those legs. So there's something to take into consideration of that. Toby is a lot younger. He's 26 years old. I think he didn't fit well with this system, all because there was too many guys, mainly maybe Butler, being on the court as him. It's a tough call. He definitely was the only guy that showed up, Butler, in the playoffs for the Sixers last year. That's for damn sure. But there were nights where he just disappeared during the regular season, too. I don't know what the Sixers do. I would love for them to run it back as much as I would hate for them to give him a max contract. But there's other holes we have to fill. We need a backup center. There's been talks that the Sixers are going to go after Al Horford. I don't want him. I would love him on like a 3-year deal, but he's not looking for that. He's getting up there in years, and this could maybe be his final payday as well. I would love for the Sixers maybe to offer Tobias a 4-year, not a max. You still have a chance to get paid after this contract is up for Toby. Maybe winning would procure getting all that bread, but, it all depends on the camp and stuff. But it looked great when our rivals, like the Celtics, were losing like Al Horford, Kyrie, but then they signed Kemba. So it was like a lateral move. And then Brooklyn, it sucks that they got KD, but he's going to be out. You don't know if he's going to be the same player. We're not going to see him next year, so I'm not even worried about that. And then I don't think it's going to put him over the top. I still think we're sitting pretty. But time will tell what is going to happen. I would love to fill out that bench. I want to get a Bogdanovich from the Pacers. You've got, if we are going to do the sign and trade with Miami, you look at the guys on there. Did they throw in Harrow? You got Bam Adebayo. I've heard Josh Richardson's name thrown in the mix. That would be. It's not the greatest team, and maybe even Gordon Dragic, but that's guys that's going to fill holes, maybe for one star. I mean, it's tough. I would love for the Sixers to run this back. And JJ Redick, I've heard, wants to play here as well. He wants to retire here, but it depends how much money he wants to get. The same with Al Horford. The guy's looking for a 4-year, $100 million. I am not paying Al Horford that much money to come play for us because I don't think that's going to build towards our team getting better. Again, it's like a lateral move. That's not going to put us over the top to get us to the finals. But the East is getting a lot stronger. You don't know where Kawhi's going to go. Is he going to go out west? Is he going to stay with Toronto? A lot of these studs are coming over to the East, and it's stacking more and more chips that the Sixers are going to have to go through to get to the to the promised land. But I don't know. Butler is the biggest wild card. He always has been. You knew he was going to opt out of his contract. It was the risk. Why do you trade for him? To get that extra year on top of the contract, to get that fifth year. That gives you the leverage against all the other teams. It gives you that $40-50 million. But do the Sixers brass want to pay a luxury tax? Don't know. They say they do. They always say the right things, but who knows if they really want to. It's what it takes to win championship. You saw the Warriors do it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. If you're going to make this run, I think we're good enough to make that run right now with the team that we had, just filling out the bench a little bit more. But we will see. What do you think about KD Nets? Is it a bad move? I think it's worth the risk for the Nets at this point. He's not going to affect the team this year, but in the long run, KD will be, 32 at that point. I don't think he's really had any major injuries like this, but you don't know how a player's going to bounce back from that. It's Achilles injury. That's huge. So, doesn't affect us right at this moment, but maybe in the future it possibly does. They're going for it. I think Brooklyn, for what it's worth, from what they went from being a bottom feeding team with having no draft picks for 5 years, and the Celtics not even capitalizing on that 5 years of riches. Bella! Sorry. And then getting Kyrie. You saw what happened when he went to Boston. He worked well with LeBron James, right? He's a ball-dominant guy. They're going to lose D'Lo, but it doesn't tip the scale for me with him going there, too. It doesn't scare me. I don't think Brooklyn gets any better with Kyrie Irving replacing D'Lo. It doesn't make me think they're going to have a dramatic wins from like 10 to 15 more wins than what they had this year, being the 6th seed. No matter what happens, if Simmons doesn't get a jump shot and Embiid doesn't get in shape. Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on our two big stars, our two young budding stars. Embiid's got to get better conditioning, and Simmons, absolutely, with the jump shot. I wouldn't extend Simmons until I see what he does this year. I think that's a bold move by the Sixers brass, because say he doesn't come in with a jump shot. This is my thought. If he comes in, he doesn't have a jump shot yet again, and you'd have to deal him before the season starts, right? Because after that point, I think his value incredibly decreases because he's just going to be a one-trick pony. You've seen the troubles that he's had on offense when you get in the half court. It all depends on what the two young stars are going to do, and then you add the pieces around. So I know Tobias, it's all about loyalty, family, what have you. I think the Sixers have shown trust. They brought his brothers in for Summer League. Sixers are going all out to bring this kid in and show him trust. He's from Brooklyn. He's not far from home. Same with JJ. That's the whole thing of him wanting to stay on the East Coast. He gets to commute. He lives at home, family. Commutes from Brooklyn all the way down to Philly. So I don't think those two are going to go anywhere. I think they're sure locks. But the Jimmy Butler thing is the biggest question for me. You're going to basically trade a star fringe, Again, he showed up big when we needed him most. But it's just been cryptic all year with Jimmy Butler. His exit interview, saying what he did, and then toying around with where he's went, blah, blah, blah. I think he does maybe want his own team. I know he wants to get paid too, which I think he's well-deserved of getting paid. Do I think he's worth $190 million? Nah, not at that age. But Sixers are stuck in a tough spot. Regardless of that, whatever happens with that, I still think the Sixers, even if they bring Butler back and the other two, you still have to fill out the bench. It's the biggest need. Look, the biggest issue with Golden State, you want to be another Golden State where once your top starting five goes out, you have nothing to rely off of the bench. It killed them. It killed them having no depth. You have to have that. You have to take pressures off your stars. You have to have a bench. You can't just have one or two guys. Okay? Biggest need, I think, is getting a backup for Embiid because you know his health, his conditioning, and you got to surround this team with more shooters. You got to surround Ben Simmons with more shooters. Getting Matthias Tybal, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Sixers draft. I'm not going to lie. You know, defense was definitely a hell of an issue, but you get a kid that can't shoot worth a shit. You know, you look at his defensive stats, he played in the Pac-12. Who's blowing you off? Like who is like who? I'm left speechless, but what dominant teams are in the Pac-12? And then they played zone. So how much of that was just not playing great talent and playing in a zone, which the Sixers don't really play ever? I don't think Matthias Thybulle, whatever his name was, I don't think that was the pick for them. If they were going to trade all those picks, why not package all of them up and shoot up to get to somebody a little better? You were sitting there at 20, I think, and then you traded with Boston again, which I thought was absolutely retarded. But I'm not throwing that on EB. I'm not. He went out and made those trades to go get. Oh, and the thing with Tobias too, you gave up, all those assets to go get him. Why let him walk after a month? You haven't seen his full commitment, what he can do to this team after a month. The same with Jimmy. It sucks. We really didn't get to see this team play as a whole, other than like 10 to 12 games. So time is ticking to see what is going to happen with the Sixers. I'm nervous, but I want to see some fillers. I don't want to see Al Horford, and I'll be really upset if we do sign and trade Jimmy, because I think he's a huge piece, not only defensively, but he's a closer. We don't have that. But will Tobias show up bigger as a closer? Because he's shown everywhere he's gone, he can fill that role. Was it Jimmy hampering Tobias with it being ineffective? I thought during the season that Brett should have moved Tobias to the bench. That was my thought. You got to have that punch, but he wasn't willing to have that, and sometimes players aren't going to be happy with it, but you got to grow balls. You're a coach. Do you think Ginobili wanted to come off the bench for his career? No, but look how many championships it got the Spurs. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to make hard decisions. Yeah, I definitely think Jimmy's gone, and he's probably going to get a sign and trade. They lowballed him, just like the Hornets did to Kemba. They offered him a weak deal. He didn't take it, and he wanted to leave, and now he's going to the Celtics. Sucks. We lose Kyrie, and they get Kemba. But they also lose Big Al. I still think they're going to be a team, but we got to see who else they get in free agency. Maybe Kemba going to the Celtics brings in another guy and another guy. It's a domino effect. I don't know if Jimmy might not want to play here. It could be a bunch of things. Play under Brett Brown. Maybe it's the management. It could be him not getting that fifth year. Ultimately, it probably comes down to that fifth year and getting that extra $40 to $50 million. It always comes down to money. Money is the root of all evil, but hey, he wants to get paid. This is it for him after this. I don't blame him for trying to get his bread. I'd be trying to do the same thing. You're going to leave a job to go to another job to take a discount? Nah, you're going to want to get paid. Paid. Especially when you're coming towards the end of your career. 30's not old by any means. I'm older than Jimmy Butler, you know what I mean? But basketball years, he's getting up there. Some tread on them tires. Yeah, I don't want Al Horford. He wants way too much money. He would be a great addition for less money, but I'm not paying him 4 years, $100 million. I'll be mad, pissed off if we get rid of Jimmy and you pay Al Horford that. That would make no sense whatsoever. Too much money for a big man. I don't know how all those pieces would flow together anyway. But we got about 4 or 5 minutes, I think, till free agency kicks off, and we'll have to see what happens. I know people want assets from the Heat. Those will be great bench pieces. Probably because you're giving up a star guy for those minimal pieces. Bam Adebayo, Josh Richardson, Harrow. They're not household names. Yeah, we need to fill out bench. Patrick Beverly. Yeah, Beverly would be a nice backup piece. We need a backup point, too. because TJ's probably gone. But by the looks of it, Sixers want to go defense, defense, defense. It was like a leaky a leaky sieve last year. We could not stop the bleeding. So defense is key, shooting is key. But money is the key too, apparently, to these rich ass billionaires who don't want to shed a couple million. TJ might be gone, but this is the exciting part about free agency. I love this. It's going to be a frenzy. You've seen the Lakers making moves. They got AD. He declined his option, so they're trying to get Kawhi there. If that happens, that would be mad corny, but I wouldn't be pissed because he'd be going back out west. Good backup center, good backup shooting guard, the first round picks. Yeah, if he does go to the Heat or the Rockets, it's like I don't want to go to the Rockets and get pieces from them with their bad contracts. They don't really have much to offer. Their picks are always low anyway, and I don't think they have a pick till 2025, so there's no real value there, at least with the Heat. We had one of their picks that we traded to the Clippers that was unprotected, but they're in a worse off situation than the Rockets. They have a little bit more leeway with the contracts, too. So I don't know what their draft pick situation is either, regardless if they have any for the next couple years or if they traded them away. 3 minutes and counting. We will have to see. And when that shit starts happening, I will sign back on and we can talk about it, y'all, if anything does happen with the Sixers. Because it's going to happen into today, into the Monday. 6 until Monday. So, could be a frenzy. But we know the big ones. It's going to be KD, Kyrie to the Nets, Kemba to the Celtics, possibly Tobias with the Sixers, JJ with the Sixers. I don't know. Tobias was in talks with Brooklyn too. But with them two going to Brooklyn, it is kind of good news that I don't think he's going to go there because I don't think they have that much money to offer that many max deals. So Tobias could be staying in our camp. I really think Tobias is going to re-sign with the Sixers. So I don't think it's a bad move re-signing Tobias. And maybe he doesn't get the max. Maybe we only give him 4 years. But we'll wait and see. 2 minutes and 28 seconds. I'm out. KG with the Bitter Birds. Peace.